When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with King Amina Vesic. So let's get to it. It's been a while, but not too long. The last time we saw each other, I gave you a fight week preview, and now we have since seen Lauren Price become unified welterweight champion. We know she's pretty much waiting on the outcome of Mayor Ryan. And that's pretty exciting for the welterweight division. I do love how things are unfolding. Price with a great performance. Not sure what Jonas does next, but welterweight is heating up. Now, there was a mention, and maybe this is a fight that could happen in the future, but certainly if Price or whomever becomes undisputed at welterweight, I think we could see that individual, and people are talking about Lauren Price versus Clarissa Shields at 154. That's a hell of a bout. Um, Even if Price didn't become undisputed at 147, I wouldn't care what she got going on. To see her, yeah, she'd be a little bit green against somebody like the GWOAT, but sometimes that youth, her hands are so quick and she got a nice little wallop on her. We're talking about, asking Shields to come down after campaigning at heavyweight for however long. So I think it really just gives you an idea of to how highly people view Lauren Price, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Caroline Dubois, I guess, tried to change up her style a bit, tried to be a little bit more exciting, tried to brawl. Definitely Bo Re Men she men, I don't know, but Shorty was in there fighting. It was a hell of a fight. Dubois definitely made it tougher than it had to be. Making it therefore an exciting bout, giving credence to bouts with punchers, skilled punchers, world champions like Beatrice Ferreira. But we still see the I guess the contention between Harper and Dubois. And I think maybe both those ladies ideally could be trying to, I don't want to say freeze Ferreira out, but I think the money, right? Since that's Dubois' main sticking point, trying to build a fight and make it worth it, respectfully. And let me just say this. It's difficult to say that Dubois has been ducking Ferreira. I would say avoiding it, and people may think that's semantics, but Dubois was waiting to see if Katie Taylor would offer her the fight at 135. If you're not ducking or avoiding Katie Taylor, I don't see how you're ducking Ferreira. Therefore, I'd rather use the word avoid. But I think both of these ladies might end up trying to avoid Ferreira if they can get an all UK showdown. Now, I say that because as it stands, Matchroom already pretty much has a monopoly or is trying to get a monopoly on 135. They already have the aforementioned and avoided Beatrice Ferreira. They got Terri Harper, right? And they also have Elif Nur Turan, who is positioned herself and I think a mandatory somehow in the WBC for Dubois. So you could see some interesting things shaking up, but yet another opportunity for Dubois could shape up with the recent signing of Alycia Baumgardner. Yeah, Alycia Baumgardner has signed to MVP Most Valuable Promotions, headed by Nikisa Bednarian and Jake Paul. The flagship fighter over there, male or female, isn't Jake Paul. It actually is Amanda Serrano. That's what I say. And I will also say, I don't think we'll get that dream bout Serrano or Baumgardner, but I think this signing does obviously a great media presence for Baumgardner. But we're just looking to see what she does in the division. Now, she's the queen pin at 130. She's got all the belts. Is it about offering other fighters like Peggy Whitmore an opportunity, or are you more looking for big name fights like Caroline Dubois? I'm not the only person. I've seen a lot of people. It's 135. You got nothing to lose. Go up and fight Dubois. I'm sure she'd be down for that. Um, yeah, make that happen. Or if not, right? Perhaps maybe positioning Alycia Baumgardner versus Chantel Cameron on the undercard of this now necessary evil that is the trilogy between Taylor and Serrano. So maybe that's the angle now. All right. You got Baumgardner versus Cameron in the winner, gets the WBC mandatory. It's an interesting proposition. So we'll have to see, but certainly we want to see if the muscle and the marketing and whatever other resources that MVP has will push Baumgardner, up into um, a higher echelon, if you will. There's another fight, against Skye Nicolson, but Skye Nicolson has other fish to fry. All right. Um, yeah, going back to some fights that have been announced. Oh, a friend of mine, a friend of yours, a friend of ours, Johanna Wonyou, um, from France, by the way of UK, or UK by the way of France. Don't care how you say it, but my friend will be challenging in a WBA title eliminator against Mayerlin Rivas, who is a hell of a fighter, contender at the 122-pound Super Bantamweight division. Um, she's got a win over Erica Cruz Hernandez, and who's the other young lady? She's got a technical draw, right, against the now current WBA champ Nazarena Romero, and she's got a loss to another contender in Micaiah Krebs. And I'm wondering if there's some angling. Man, I'd hate to see those two girls fight, but damn, that's action. Micaiah Krebs maybe gets the winner of this bout. Who knows? But certainly I know right now it's all about Johanna Wonyou, and I think she is very skilled. Don't worry about the knockouts. That ain't her thing. She's just a skilled fighter, stronger than what she looks. She fights with distance, but she knows how to get inside and brawl a bit. Similar to what you're seeing with Caroline Dubois. I mean, again, a skilled operator on the outside, but not afraid to mix it up. Can't wait to see that happen. That is April 17th. Again, a WBA eliminator. I think that one's going down in Venezuela, I believe. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. And it's got television there's it'll be televised, so make sure you follow up and keep up with that. Also, speaking of televised, making her pro debut from the UK, seven-time national champion, two-time European medalist, Shona Whitwell. Shona Whitwell. I hope it goes well in her pro debut. I believe she fought at lightweight. I don't know. We saw what happened with was it Shauna Brown? Right? This is Shona Whitwell. We saw what happened with Shauna Brown. Let's just bring her along slowly. All right. I've always credited the UK for bringing along their fighters, especially well, yeah, their fighters, period. Bringing along slowly and giving them a pedigree. Let's do the same. Let's not rush her out the gate. Clarissa Shields' suspension was lifted, or whatever that was going on. Probably just a contact situation. Cannabis is legal, I believe, in Michigan. So probably just some contact, smoke in the air. Tends to happen a lot at these events. Trust me, I know a thing or two about it. I also know a thing or two about what's happening this week. This is a hell of a fight week. I must get to it. The aforementioned Skye Nicolson, who I wouldn't mind there's still lots of work at 126, right? She could always get in there with Caddis Artingstall. We'd all love that fight. But she could also move up. I don't think Eddie will allow it. All right. She's a hell of a fighter, but she's still our $1 million Nepo baby. I don't see her moving up to 130. I don't think she can withstand getting hit by Baumgardner at 130, but I love to see the fight happen. But as it stands, there's somebody that wants to hit her. And for a long time, Tiara Brown has been on the fringes of contention, making herself the mandatory, been in all types of eliminators, and now the opportunity comes this weekend. She's going to be facing off. Now, it's in Australia. A lot of people tend to believe it's going to be very difficult to get any sort of decision in Australia, but it could also be the footwork of Skye Nicolson. Puts you in the mind a lot of Shakur Stevenson. If she does not want to be hit, she will not allow you to hit her, whether we enjoy it or not. So Tiara Brown is going to have to do something to cut the ring off or change her game up a little bit just to slow Nicholson down to get some of that action to sway the judges. It's going to be a tall task for Brown, but she's been training for quite some time for this particular fight. So let's see how it plays out. Also on the same card, a fight that didn't play out maybe initially how some people thought it would. This is the rematch between Shanika Sugar Neeks Johnson versus Nina Hughes. Hughes was the former WBA champion going into this bout, lost the title. Well, the previous bout rather, lost the title to Shanika Johnson using the jab strongly in the last bout, and really slowing Hughes down. Hughes, momentarily, she's got the less reach, so a lot of her game was trying to get in the inside. But when Johnson began firing off the jab, she had control of the fight. She's going to try to retain her title. Now, Johnson, as it will, she lost her title, former Super Bantamweight champion, to Ellie Scottney. So she's got some seasoning on her before that fight, coming in off a win against Shannon Shotgun O'Connell. And now I believe she has the confidence, and she's probably going to try to use a similar game plan to best Nina Hughes. This one's going to be interesting. If it goes the other way for Hughes, of course, we could see a trilogy. Very intriguing bout, ladies and gentlemen. Please tune into that. That's on the undercard. Both of those aforementioned fights are on the undercard of George Kambosos versus his, with all due respect, late replacement opponent. I don't know the guy's name. I ain't know the first guy's name. All right. Also, this weekend, I got all these friends. You see what happens when you're such a credible and respectable dignitary within the sport, especially on the women's side of things. A friend of mine, Jasmine Artiga, can't say it like a gringo, baby. She is going to be fighting for a vacant WBA title against what's the lady's name? I believe Regina Chavez out of Mexico. Chavez probably purports herself as a puncher, but she ain't gonna last much longer, or long at all, should I say, against Artiga. Artiga's 12-0-1 with about 11 KOs, 10 KOs, something like that. Probably the most notable name is Nancy Frankel, but the skill set, you can see it when you see her in the ring. And this will probably be a great opportunity to propel her into, again, at that upper echelon that I previously spoke about, becoming a world champion and representing both Cuba and Tampa, Florida. Okay. If there's any other action happening this week, it's probably very, very obscure. I told you guys, I'm trying to give you guys a nice hearty portion. So yeah, I missed you last week, but I hope this is enough leading up to Ryan Mayer 2. Can't wait for that one. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.